Am I introducing this one? I guess I'm gonna bring this one in. Okay, so what's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of I Said What I Said, Le Podcast. The podcast where Cams and I say what we say and we mean that shit. We are back with the first episode of 2019.
Annoying.
And we are here. Today is going to be a fun episode because we are here with a guest.
Clap it up. Clap it
up. So as you guys know, I am TJ, aka Big Reddington on Twitter and High Definition on Instagram. To my far left, we have my co-host who's waving, but I'm just like, I just need her to introduce herself.
Like, you had to think about it. What's up, guys? My name is Cams, at Cams on Instagram and Twitter.
And then we have our guest here, like right in the middle. Guest, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Njambi, at Jamba Juice on Instagram.
True.
Clever.
That was before Travis Scott and the sicko mode. Just saying.
just throwing it out there. Welcome, Njambi.
Welcome
to the first episode of 2019. So we're kicking off the new year with a guest and a really dope guest at that. So I don't know if you want to just give the listeners just a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you live, what's your social.
What's your name? What's your sign?
Right. All of that fun stuff.
All right. So I am an artist. I am primarily a writer. I model. I'm also a huge mental health advocate. I live and breathe that, especially like in today's times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm originally from Kenya, but I rep Brooklyn because that's where I live now. So, boop.
I wasn't expecting that.
No. And I am an Aquarius. So,
okay.
Valid.
So, yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
You said that's fair?
That's fair.
We're Taurus gang, so that's why we're just here like on the opposite end. Like,
But I vibe with y'all.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Like, we vibe.
With Aquarii.
Welcome.
Thank
you.
Welcome
to the first
for having
me. Anytime. So we thought it would be cool to just start the first year off with a guest. And today's episode will actually be jumping into, the topic of today's episode is, drumroll.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you. Floppy self-love. Ooh, I knew something was coming from this side of the room. So we are talking about floppy self-love. And the reason that we sort of came up with this topic today, there's actually a few reasons, but one of the reasons is that, again, we're jumping into the new year. So we thought it would be, I would say, suitable to talk about self-love and self-care to kind of get you guys started off on a good foot. Also, this topic sort of came into play a little bit. I was attending an event that Njambi hosted, and flip-floppy self-love was something that came up, I would say briefly, and I thought it would be good to just expand upon it a little more. So I'm looking forward to see to seeing how you actually feel about this topic. So for those of you who are not sure what flip-floppy self-love is or what it means, I can give you my personal definition. And it's pretty much just when you have these moments of, I'm here for me, I'm vibing with myself, I'm like super confident, I'm here for all of the movements and the decisions that I'm making, how I look, how I dress, how I feel. And then maybe there might be another day or another time, an hour later, a week later, where you're just like, just not really vibing with yourself like that. And so I wanted to talk about it and just kind of get an idea of if you guys agree with, like, if that's a definition that you feel is accurate to describe it, or what it means to you, what kind of person you are. Are you that like flip-floppy self-lover? Or are you just super confident, or are you just not confident at all? So I just wanted to just kind of like pick you guys' or girls' brains about that stuff.
Cool.
Okay. So
Njambi has a lot to say about this.
I'm thinking about.
She looked at the ceiling, which means
I'm about to kill
she
him.
has. She's about to drop all the gems.
Right.
Like,
in the first 5 minutes.
Right.
I'll take it easy.
Like, we'll take it light. Okay.
No, I think about this a lot, especially because it's so hard to love yourself in this time. Like, and I say this time, like it's 2019. You know, I was sitting at home and I was watching Surviving R. Kelly. And I think I text you and I was just like, wow, like so many feelings were coming up, you know, and it's just like, how do you consistently love yourself in a time like this? And those are the questions that I ask myself. You know what I mean? So like, yes, like I know I'm beautiful and like I have all these things to like offer the world, but then sometimes I will see things or I'll hear things and I'll be like, ooh, I don't know. And I'm right back to this like unsureness, if that makes sense. So I do agree with you on the flip-floppy self-love. I think also coming from a place of like trauma and PTSD, like a lot of us are coming from these backgrounds, unfortunately, we have survival modes. So I know for me, like I've been in survival mode for as long as I can remember. And it's actually interesting because last year I challenged myself to step out of that comfort zone, out of that survival mode. But it was just like, I constantly found myself running back to it. It's like this bubble you create. You create this entire world and you're like, I can see the other world out there and I know that I can thrive out there. But then it's like, I'm here and I'm so comfortable here. So I think that's where I go back and forth with the flip-floppy self-love.
What, right?
Just hit the nail right on the head.
Valid. What about you, Kim? Do you have?
I gotta go after her
because I have some follow-up stuff, but I wanna, or questions rather, but I wanna just get an idea first of what you feel it means to you, and if you are that kind of person, and just like what sort of category you fall into, if any.
I'm definitely guilty of flip-floppy love. Definitely. I agree with both of the things that you guys were saying. And I also think it's once you recognize it in yourself and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to change out of that direction, but you have to make your actions and like your words match up. So it's like, all right, this year I'm going to love myself better, but I'm still making those decisions that are showing otherwise, or this way I'm going to put myself first, but I'm still doing things that are not necessarily supporting what I'm saying I'm going to do. So that's all I would add to. I think you guys summed it up really well.
I'm trying to put this on us. Like she's like, oh, you got right. I'm just going to piggyback off of I'm just going to piggyback off.
It's not even piggybacking because that's such an important part of it, right? Like you can have all these New Year's resolutions, you can have all these goals, but if it's not matching up, you know what I mean?
Why you violated everybody that made a New Year's resolution? Like
no, but it's like so
have your little resolution.
No. And I've been guilty of that in the past as well. So I'm not even tripping.
Like you have your little resolution or whatever.
No,
we've all made, you know.
Listen, this is a disclaimer. We are not violating anyone. We're not coming for anyone who made it 2019.
You definitely have your little resolutions.
No, of course. And I have resolutions as well, but I'm just saying it's, and I've been guilty of it. I only speak from a place of like experience. So I know for me, I have so many resolutions. A simple one is just like even going to the gym, and then it's the first day of the year, and I'm eating like overly eating. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm over here like eating everything that I set out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said I wouldn't eat. So that's just like a small example, but like
she attacked me just now. I feel triggered already.
Yeah,
came for you like
absolutely though, absolutely.
But yeah,
I think I don't know. I think you guys, girls.
I think fine. I don't feel offended.
Just to piggyback off what Cam said and Njambi, I think you guys are both right in that, like you may have those moments where you're like you find yourself running back to this like safe place, kind of, even if it's not the most healthy. And then you also have to like take a moment to sort of acknowledge Like, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is what I'm trying to be. And try to find a way to like consciously not make the same decisions that will put you in a certain place. I touched on it a little bit when we had the event that you had in December, where I feel like I'm also one of those people. So I have my moments where I'm just really satisfied with where I am like in my mental space, my physical appearance, my pay grade. And then I also have moments where it's like something will like click and I'm just like, this is not it. Like, this is not it for me. And I fall into this safe place. And safe place can like involve Chipotle. Safe place can be ice cream. Safe place can be writing. Safe place can be basketball in the park. Like, whatever it is, spending money, splurging on
Sephora.
Mind your business. It's just like, it's true. Listen, I've gotten better.
Judgment-free zone.
I've gotten better. But you kind of find yourself falling back into these, I don't know, like
it's almost like a habit.
Habits.
Yeah. And I don't know if, so I guess what I wanted to find out from you guys is like, is it a bad thing? Because I personally know people who are just confident all the time. Like, there's not a thing you can tell them or say or do that will change the space that they're in. They're confident and they're comfortable with who they are as a person. And then there are people who are on the like complete opposite end of the spectrum where they're just not feeling good about themselves in any capacity. So you like, do you guys think it's a bad thing to kind of have these flip-floppy moments? Do you feel like we should just be confident all the time? What do you think?
Should I go?
Please take the stage.
That's a hard question. Thank you. I think the first point I wanted to make was people that are confident all the time. I definitely feel like it plays into like your background, your upbringing, your experiences. If you had someone that always made you feel confident or always told you like this is how you have to be no matter what you went through, then you might have held on to that more versus someone who might have had a more traumatic upbringing or just wasn't poured into the importance of self-love as much. So that's the first thing I want to say. And then I don't think that it's necessarily negative to be confident in yourself all the time. I think there's a line between like confidence and like arrogance. And sometimes when people are confident all the time, it's like, oh,
came for me.
No. It's like, you know, when somebody's confident, we have to recognize that being confident doesn't always mean arrogance. I can be very confident in myself and not think that I'm better than you. I just think I'm great. Yeah. You know?
Right.
But then I'd also say that there should be a little caution where it's like, you know, I don't think that we should ever want to be to a point where we're just so confident in ourselves that there's never any room for growth or change or anything like that. Yep. So that's what I think.
Dropping gems. Ooh. What do you think, Njambi?
I definitely agree. I agree with the way you were raised, the background, and your parents or parental figures being a huge part of the way you love yourself. You know, because you leave this household and you go out into the world. And depending on the way love was poured, like given to you and the way you received love, you go out into the world. And most of the times you're giving and receiving love the way you've given and received it, you know? So I know for me also, I talk about this all the time. My parents weren't in my life. So, and my father is a very much so a part-time father, like it's in and out. And that affects the way I love myself in and out as well. It's because it's like, you know, it's back to that flip-floppy, like, you know, so I think those are like very critical years. Like when you're younger and like the people around you who are pouring the love into you, that's one for sure. And what I was going to say is I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be flip-floppy with your self-love. I just think it's good to know that overall you want to consistently love yourself. Like have a goal in mind. You know what I mean? Like, because you can get stuck in this cycle. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like I'm grappling with that in my 20s, where it's like I'm good for a bit, and then it's like, ooh, actually, nah, I'm not. And then paying attention to like moments. Paying attention to like behaviors and patterns.
Yes.
Like of yourself, it's like, oh, nah, I'm messing up, right? You know. And also, I think a big part of it is accountability. Like, who are the people around you? You know what I mean? Like cultivating like community and like people around you who can hold you accountable, who you can hold accountable. Because the thing about being confident, and I think this is also the line between confidence and arrogance. There's some people who are super confident. You can't touch them. You can't tell them nothing, which is great. But then it's like, they also don't want to be held accountable. And it's like, all right, well, I mean, where are we going from here?
I just want you guys to know that accountability is Njambi's favorite word.
Not really.
It's her favorite word. She's like very big on like, I need you to like be accountable or hold yourself accountable, which is great.
And hold each other accountable.
Exactly.
This is her favorite word. So I just wanted you guys to know, like, you know, Kenya, all that, Brooklyn, all that stuff is fun, but accountability is like the thing that really like drives it home. No, I think you're right though, but I want to challenge you just a little bit because Cams, you actually, well, you both kind of mentioned something along the lines of just like how love was poured into you, which I do agree to a certain extent can definitely play a role in how you view yourself, how you love yourself and love other people as well. But I also feel like after a certain point, like you're an adult. Where does the intrinsic motivation come in? Like you motivating yourself or figuring out what it is that you need to do to take it to the next level and kind of maintain this like love for yourself on a consistent basis. So I'm curious to know where you guys think that comes into play, because like I'm thinking of it as like as a child, you like children are sponges, you know? So whatever parental figures you have around you, whatever friends you keep, whatever it is, you're sort of growing as a person because of those experiences that you're having. But once I don't know if it's a certain age limit, like I can't put a number on it. But I would say once you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, now the decisions that you're making, like we're going to have to hold you accountable for that because you're not 8 years old anymore. So at what point does intrinsic motivation come into play? Like, I just need to figure out what I need to do to be consistent with loving myself.
I think it's an ongoing process. And for me personally, I'd say it probably happened or it's happening, I would say from anywhere from like your early 20s on, where it's like you're discovering yourself all over again, your identity all over again. I think around that time you start learning that you can't lean back on the foundation that you had in your past. So you have to learn to try different things in order, like, for instance, certain things might have worked in previous relationships with a family member, your friends or whatever. But, you know, as you get older and you interact with more people from different backgrounds and different experiences who were loved different or experience things differently, it's almost like you're challenged at every corner that you go to then look inside yourself like, all right, this is how I know how to love, but it's not working for this person in this relationship. It's not working with my best friend who's not fucking with the way that I'm showing her love or whatever it is, you know? So I
disclaimer, Kamalia fucks with the way that I show her love.
Debatable. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, that sounded a little sus too.
You are sus.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Is that
Carry
Taurus?
on.
Whoa, don't group us in together. Right?
It's the Torah.
The Torah, Dad.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
no.
like make you lose your
The Torah.
Sorry.
I think at least for me, I feel like it's in your 20s where you're like, you're growing up, you're going through those things, which makes you realize like, all right, I'm not doing something right, or something I need to adjust in order to interact with these various people. Or if you're used to feeling the same way all the time, then eventually you're like, well, I have to do something different because what I was taught wasn't working for me. But you definitely have to go through that period of like, or at least I think people go through a period of like, what's wrong with me, or why am I not getting this, or why am I feeling with this? And you'll never have the answer to that until you become okay with yourself. Right. So I guess to answer your question, I would say it's in your 20s.
I would say it's definitely in your 20s as well. It's about like
earliest.
Yeah. But like it's also about unlearning so many things that you've learned when you're,
which is the hardest thing.
Which is like super hard, and that's the thing. So we come up against
stuff that's been ingrained in you.
And it's been ingrained. Society tells us one thing, and then you come up against yourself too. Like it's like, are you gonna take this version of yourself, or are you gonna like rise up to the occasion and be the best version of yourself that you can be? I would suggest like what I've been doing lately that's been working is spending time with yourself.
Let me get out my little notepad.
Like, spending time with yourself. And what that looks like is like I went to see if Beale Street could talk by myself. Like I've started like dating myself. I know it sounds crazy, but like
no, that sounds
like your life to me.
Yeah, no, like so then you start understanding what you like as opposed to like what you like for a relationship. You know what I mean? Like now you're starting to understand yourself and things like that. And also trying to go into different spaces. Like not feeling like, oh, I'm not going to go there because that's just for them. It's like, no, go there and experience it, especially if it's free. Because I know not everybody's packets is right? So like if it's a free event, we live in New York City, trying Eventbrite, whatever it is, like there are so many things out there and you'll find your people. You'll find your people wherever you go, and you feel like the way you came to my event, you know what I mean? Like you came out, you know what I mean? You find your people there. And that's been so important for me. And also like listening to your body.
Yes.
And like paying attention to your gut instinct. Like, yo,
I have one of those. Stupid. I have one of those. The Chipotle and the ice cream. Yo. Definitely there.
I mean, but sometimes like it will tell you to do. Yo,
definitely listen to the gut on the Chipotle and the ice cream. Not at the same time, just in general.
I actually have a question for you. Sure. So how did you get to the point where you were like, I guess for me and a theme that we spoke about in like previous podcasts and episodes is stepping out of our comfort zone. And I don't want to speak for all tourists, but for me, especially, I feel like I'm very comfortable. Like, all right, I have these friends. I'm introverted. I like going into situations that I already know about. And then, so I think that in 2018, I might have missed out on a lot of like dope experiences or just meeting people because I'm so like, I just want to be where I'm comfortable. I just want to do what I know. But I do realize at the same time that all the things that I want to do or the things that I want to achieve are on the other end of the comfort zone. So how did you, I guess, force yourself out of the comfort zone? Or was it a little easier for you? How did you work through that?
I'm still working through it. For real. Like it's an everyday process. But I would say beginning that process is we're so lucky that we have social media, which is how we connect. You know? So I would say starting off with that, even this podcast, like people will come to you based on like what you're doing. You know what I mean? So like I know a big thing for me has been writing and performing. And so I constantly go to spaces where I feel like maybe I wouldn't have gone before. Like I'm in the Bronx. I don't hang out in the Bronx, but it's like, let me go outside of my borough. And, so that's just like a small example of like, okay, I'm going to go outside my borough and I'm going to like convene with like-minded people and
see what's going on.
Going on. So, you could take a trip, come Brooklyn, Staten Island. Brooklyn, I mean, I don't know what's there, but you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know what's there.
Shaolin. Oh, are you from?
No, I'm looking into Staten Island, but I'm not from Staten Island. I'm from Queens.
Okay. So, see?
Hating.
But also like, yeah, just like focusing on the art, focusing on what it is that I want to be, and like understanding my purpose has really helped me as well. So yeah, that's a big one.
Nice.
And that doesn't come overnight, y'all. At all.
Some people, I feel like some people,
I feel like
works
some
out
people
that way,
they just wake up and they're like, all right, I'm gonna cut my shit and I'm gonna perform today. And for me, I'm like, I'm gonna write the shit out of this poem, but
I don't know
about performing. You know,
open mics.
Open mics require you to like stand in front of people, and you know. I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit.
I hear you.
Okay, Erica.
Right?
Okay, Badu.
It's crazy because I always go back to this quote, right? I don't know who wrote it. It's one of the ones that popped up on Instagram. Shout out to whoever reposted. You know those.
You're like, yeah.
And it was like
on a colorful background, right? With the random, with the know who this is by. Like, got it.
And it was like nothing grows in a comfort zone.
Yes.
And I was like,
I know that quote well.
Right? I was like, damn. And I put it up on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, that's the one.
But do you guys think that, I mean, I agree with that quote, whoever it is, shout out to Instagram.
I might have to put it up on my wall.
Person. But do you think that you have to step out of a comfort zone to, I don't know, like to be consistent with that sort of self-love? Because a part of it, in my opinion, is you are comfortable in your space, and being comfortable is like being safe. So I'm happy here. This is a happy place for me. And I'm not a person who likes to necessarily step out of a comfort zone. I actually make my bed in the comfort zone. I bring Chipotle to the comfort zone. Like, this is my space. And I'm curious to know if there's a correlation or even a causation for the reason why I have this like flip-floppy relationship with myself, because I'm doing the same thing. So I don't know. I personally don't think that necessarily stepping outside of yourself is required for you to love yourself. I do think it ties a little bit more into what you brought up earlier, Cams, about age. But even age, I feel like is more just about like the point that you are in your life. Like 30, I can't speak for 30. I'm not 30 yet. But let's say 20, when I was 20, I wanted different things. Different things made me happy versus what I wanted and what things made me happy at 25. So maybe it's not like a bad thing to kind of have flip-floppy self-love. Or maybe it's not like flip-floppy. It's just like, what am I looking for now? I don't know.
I agree with what you're saying. I think you definitely, you love yourself different at different points of your life. You want different things at different parts of your life. I don't think that you necessarily have to step out of your comfort zone,
right? Turn it up, right?
In order to love yourself. I think that stepping out of your comfort zone is an extension of you loving yourself. Does that make sense? Like, I'll use myself as an example. Okay. I like to create. So I think if I just create and I keep it within myself, I'm not really feeding my passion or my creativity as much as I would be if I shared it with other people. So in that sense, I would say you're loving yourself in that way. But on the flip side, that doesn't mean I love myself less by just creating by myself. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That was a very good example too, because I was looking at you with the side eye. Like,
I know you were.
Where is she going with this? I need to know, because
answers.
Co-host, fellow Tori. I'm like, we need to be on the same page. I need to know what's going on. So actually, that was a really good example. Okay, I feel like that makes sense. I think extension was a good word to describe it. As far as like loving yourself, I guess.
And then also, sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't know. It's something that I think about often, because obviously I have experienced it and I'm still experiencing it now. Like, I am definitely not this person where 100% of the time I'm just like, I'm confident and I'm happy with where I am and what's going on. I do have those moments of like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Like, is this supposed to be like this? I feel like at my age, this is not supposed to be like this. And it kind of, going back to what you mentioned, social media and...
So say that's the problem right there.
You were about to point out social media?
Just at my age, am I supposed to be like this? Social media portrays that at this age, you're supposed to have this, that, and the third. And reality shows us that, like, I'm this age and I don't have this, that, and the third, you know? Yeah. I don't think that 25 means the same for every person. Like, 25 could look different from me, you, and you. It's whatever your goal is and whatever you want for yourself at 25. And those might be different things because we're different people.
Right. I try to remember like examples of like people in real life who have achieved things. Like I think Marshall Ali is like in his 40s and he got his first role. I love him, by the way. And I'm also a huge Barry Jenkins fan. So
Jenkins Clan.
Yes.
Jenkins Clan.
Hey. So he got his first role, I think, in his 40s. And that's just like one example. There's a lot. It was a whole list, but I'm not going to get into it right now. But I think it's important to remember that you can still achieve all your goals. And just because you're in your 20s and you're not, I guess, and then that brings me to my next question, I guess. What are you supposed to have at 25? You know what I mean? Like we said, we're all coming from different backgrounds, different financial situations, different healing from like traumatic situations. You don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't know where people are. So it's super unfair to like put this like goal or like this like
general stamp on like everybody needs to fall under this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but from a very general standpoint, at 25, I personally think everybody should just have bread. Like, I'm not trying to be the broke person. Like, however you get your income is your business. But at 25, I'm serious. Like, at 25, tying back to what I mentioned about, like, after a certain point, you're expected to, like, make certain decisions. So, not that everyone has to have, like, their dream job and dream house at 25, but you should be, I personally think, in a good, or at least trying to set yourself up for being in a good financial space, because everything is money driven, and it's not like that's gonna be the root of like loving yourself, or it's just like gonna set you up, I think, to be in a better situation. So I think that's like, it might be like the one consistent thing across all 25-year-olds. I feel like you probably should have some money in your pocket.
Get that bread.
Stack the Skrilla. Stack the Skrilla.
The Skrilla. When's the last time you heard Skrilla?
Since like 5 seconds ago, literally.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree on the, like, at least have income or set yourself up to be in a position to at least succeed in the way you want to succeed. Because success is different for everybody, right? It looks different for everyone. But social media is, man, it has made us like go into this like world. It's a different world, I feel like. You know, where you feel like you have to compete with so-and-so, or you feel like you're, what is it? FOMO? Like fear of missing out, or like, you know, you're missing out, or you're not doing this, or so-and-so is here. And it's just like, that's all distraction. We're also being hella distracted.
Yeah, that's a great word. And
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think we think about it being a distraction when we're having these thoughts. It's like, but it's true. When you're focused on what everybody else is doing, you're distracting yourself from what you should be doing or what you want to do. Because I'm too worried about, damn, Omar got the new pair, and I could be over here working on whatever I need to work on so that I could get whatever it is that I want.
Depending on the person that you are, though.
True.
You take that, like some people will take that and turn that into, yo, Omar got these, I'm about to get these. And if that not saying it's a good or bad thing, but that's what they use as the motivation.
Okay.
Right.
To I don't personally think it's necessarily the best way to motivate yourself. It is one form of motivation.
I think it depends on what it motivates you to do.
Right.
Or what it is. Like, for instance, if I see Omar and he's killing it on the gram every day, and now he got a 6-pack, and you know, he's out here. He's
like, no, I'm not there yet, but don't put me on blast.
That motivates me, because it's like, damn, me and Omar were just having this conversation, and now he really went out there and do it. That shows me that, like, yo, somebody just like me could do it. That's a different kind of motivation versus like
Yeezys.
Oh,
right.
man.
Or not to shit on it, because I want a pair of Yeezys too. But I mean, but It's just a matter of
You're
where
canceled.
your priorities are.
Priorities.
We're
Yeah,
canceling Kim for
it's a matter of where your
2019 for wanting
priorities are.
Yeezys.
I think also like a big thing that I try to remember is social media is curated, right? So like people are putting their best versions of themselves out.
Ooh.
So I found myself doing this. I speak on experience. You know what I mean? Like I'll put up a picture and I'll be looking good. And then it's like, but I look, you feel me? 2019 energy. But I'll be feeling like I'm in bed laying down and I'm feeling really bad. But my Instagram page is reflecting something different. And I know there are other people who do that. So just remember and keep that in mind that it's a curated page.
Right.
You know? And that might not be a reflection of where people are actually at. So, yeah.
Valid. Sprinkle a little validity. I mentioned this to you like right before we started recording about how on social media, because it kind of ties back to we've had an episode about social media and relationships, but just thinking about social media in general and how that kind of ties back to self-love. I feel like if you're looking at social media, you really don't know who anybody is or what level of self-love or self-care that they have for themselves because you see their best version on their page, but behind the scenes, it might be a completely different sort of situation.
That's the whole thing where like people look at like Jay-Z and Beyonce or any of those big couples and they're like goals. And I'm like, you don't know what they had to go through
getting
to
snuffed
even
in the elevator. Like,
you didn't know what they had to go through.
Who's getting slapped up in the elevator
to look to prove this. So that goes by just regular people. I shouldn't envy you because maybe you're where I want to be, but I don't know the journey that you had to get there. So I can't just be like, oh, Tiara was an overnight success.
Right.
Not knowing that Tiara was crying herself to sleep for the last 7.
Don't put me on blast like that. Don't do that to me like that. First episode of the year, don't put me on blast like that, all right? I was not crying myself to sleep.
It's an example.
For 7 years.
To be clear. To be clear. Only 6 years. But
yo, this is
no, but
my co-host is putting me on blast the first episode of the year. This is so crazy.
No, y'all get what I mean though. Like
I hear you.
You don't know the path or the struggle that somebody gets to. That to me is a constant reminder why I never feel that I'm better than someone else. Like everything that I feel that I've accomplished so far, I feel like I worked my ass off for. So I can never feel like, oh, I got this, I'm better than this person, because I know what the hell I had to do to get there. And I also feel like the next person could do the same thing and get there. So
right. And also this idea that we're in competition.
Yes.
Like, it's just like, man, like you can literally like, I reach out to people who I see, I'm like, okay, you're going in the same direction as me, or I'll add people or they'll reach out to me. And it's like, okay, we can network across the board. Like Issa Rae said it best. She was like, yo, network across the board. And we don't have to be in competition because we're all trying to make it. We're all trying to get there. But social media and society has made it as if we're in like serious competition or like there's a fake pseudo competition. It's like,
and or it's like, if I win, you can't win too. Like there's not enough space for all
one
of
or the
us.
other.
There's
I
a
wish
lot of
more
space,
people had that mindset where it's like we would actually do better if we worked together. Like we could all get further if we borrowed from each other, if we put each other on. Some people feel like I know all this information, but I'm not going to tell you because damn, then you're going to come up or you might do it better than me. Where it's just like, I feel like if I know something like, yo, Tiara, you looking for a job? I just found this out. They pay X, Y, and Z. Let me put you on. You're not looking for a job.
Did you? You can give me the details after. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just
give us the details after the episode.
I can't share with all of you.
Don't share with. We're not going to share with y'all.
I want you guys to get the job.
Right.
Like,
we just trying to elevate over here.
It's just us. Y'all over there. You feel me?
It's just us. Right. Can't sit with us.
At the time, it's just us.
Exactly. Yeah, there's definitely that vibe of like there's not like it's not enough for all of us, or like we all can't be successful, or you know. And I wish that I could connect with more people who felt the same way. I know the people that I like keep in my life, I do feel like I'm not in competition with them. I feel like if I come to them, I'm like, yo, I really want to do this. Like, there's always that spirit of, all right, go and do it. It's not like, oh, she wants to do this. Well, let me see how I could outdo her. Like, But there are people who are really out there like that.
Yeah.
Don't point. Listen, we. This is not starting off great for me. Listen, my co-host is over here throwing all types of shade.
Nah, TJ is one of my biggest supporters, so it's all laughs and jokes on this episode.
Is it? Don't try to clean it up. Like, don't try to clean it up because it's 2019. Like, talk your shit and mean it.
Get
okay.
Right with you.
Say what you say
and mean it.
And mean that shit. All right.
Yeah, funny.
Let's keep it real before it goes wrong.
I did have a serious question for.
I'm sorry. Let me stop bullshitting. I'm sorry.
So you mentioned like we post the best version of ourselves, and then the days that because I think it's very important to like I like that you speak about mental health and just to highlight the days where you don't feel like that. But on the flip side, going back to me being introverted or shy or whatever you want to call it, it's like I know that I can talk about certain things and it will really hit home for some people. It will really benefit some people. It will really help people who maybe feel like I do. But at the same time, it's like I have to have that level of vulnerability in order to
do that.
So that's my constant struggle because I mean, there's a lot of things that I would like to be on Instagram, like, yo, this happened to me, this is what I was going through. But then a part of me is like, damn, there's always that one. I guess it's like the mystery of wanting to be mysterious instead of like someone knowing who you are, feeling like someone knows too much about you. So how do you guys... Or what do you guys suggest for balancing that?
Njambi has an answer.
She's
ready with the gem.
Like, no, I'm saying like I used to be queen of the mystery. Like I don't know if that's an Aquarius thing, but I was like, you know what? Nobody's gonna know anything. I just need to post these fly ass pics, and that's it. But then I felt empty too because it was like, I'm looking around and it's not fulfilling me before it's even fulfilling anyone else, right? So, and I remember so I struggle with depression and I talk openly about it all the time. And I remember it was like 2015. I couldn't get out of bed. My homegirl was coming over. She's making sure I ate. Like it was real. And I was like, damn, like I don't know what to do. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to create something to help me get through November. Now, my name starts with an N. And so I created Njambi's November, and it's a hashtag. And so it was hard. I was like, this was way before like we had vocabulary, before everyone was talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like seriously, and all my African family was like online, they're following me. So I'm like, damn, like.
Exactly,
But I said to myself, you know what? This is the most I can do. And it's a thing now. Every November, I do Njambi's November.
Nice.
And I speak on really hard things like depression or trauma, whatever it is. And it's gotten easier and easier as the years have gone. Like last 2018 was my favorite. I just stepped out and like, I think you saw it, it's just like me talking about like.
I did.
Today I'm up. Today I'm down, because that's what happens, like generally creating some authenticity. But I think I understand the mysteriousness and I understand wanting to be mysterious, but I was staying mysterious because I was afraid of what people would think.
Yes. And that's what it is.
And that's what it is. And so I was like, you know what? I got to do this for myself. And once you step out of that and you start thinking about, well, I'm not saying go out there and just woo. I mean, if you can,
like, tell you guys about my life.
You could,
woo.
But I know y'all are Torah, and like it takes a while. Torah. Like I get it.
She understands us. Finally, you get somebody who understands us. Yes.
I would say that even if it's for yourself, because you don't have to share everything with the world, right?
True.
Even if it's for yourself, if it's writing or videoing yourself, like I video myself sometimes in like a journal, and just to like see the journey that you've made, or like to understand like I'm gonna bookmark this and come back to it just because I want to for myself.
Right.
So that could be a thing too, and like looking at hashtags of like other people who've been through similar things, connecting with them, and even just going to see them speak. I like seeing people speak, especially like Dr. Jess is really dope. There's this woman who did, she started the therapy for Black girls. I tune into her lives.
Please tag me into some of these
Yes,
things.
No, I got you. I got you, for real. And she talks about like things, every Thursday she has topics. She goes live and she talks about, I can't personally talk on them right now. I'm not yet there, but she talks about it. And it's like, okay, cool.
Not
You
the
know, so-
only one. Like
Right.
somebody else
You know?
is,
And that's
connect with somebody else.
Yeah.
why I feel the need to like, one, it's a healing process when you get something out, when you talk about it, you write about it, whatever. I feel like it's a healing process for myself. But then also like, I would like to share it with others because I feel like sometimes when you're going through it, you feel like, damn, I wish somebody was understanding where I was coming from, or I wish somebody experienced what I experienced, or, you know, could relate to what I'm going through. So I think I would want to be that for somebody else or other people who feel like, damn, no one understands what I'm going through. Like, yeah, there's actually a lot of people who experience things that you're going through, but, you know, it's not spoken about.
Right.
I think something that I want to, something I just want to point out to like kind of bring all of this full circle. There was a word that you used. That was an awesome word. The word was authenticity. And that stood out to me because kind of bringing together what both of you mentioned, I think it's important to recognize when you are having a really like, yo, I'm fire today. Like one of those days I'm on fire. And then also recognize the times where it's like, okay, maybe I'm not on fire today, but I need to figure out some way to get this spark lit. Like figure it out.
Spark.
More
Spark
fire.
by, right?
Follow me on YouTube.
Fire
Spark by Simone.
yes, true. But being authentic, like just being real about what it is that you're going through and what it is that you want. You definitely don't want to be that person where it's like, oh, I'm okay, I'm good.
Right.
All the time when everything is not good. Like be authentic, like be real. And I think that sort of acknowledgement is self-love in itself.
Yes.
Even when you may not
Look at her dropping the gems.
Okay.
Okay. I think that like acknowledging that is self-love in itself. Like even if you're not on like, if you're not number one that day, or if you're not feeling like number one.
Yes.
So I think that was a really good word. Yeah, I like authenticity. I was like,
a lot of people fuck with that more than you imagine, or more than the other things. Like, I don't know, for me personally, when I'm scrolling down timelines or I'm like looking through the explore page, when I see like, not to say I buy into somebody more, but that's what it is. It's like, oh, I want to follow you more because it's not every
you're
day.
A real person.
Every day you're not on a level 100.
Right.
So it's like, all right, every day I'm not on a level 100.
Right.
I'd rather follow someone or interact with someone who's keeping it real. Like, yeah, today was a shitty ass day. Hopefully tomorrow's better. Or today was a shitty ass day and this is what I did about it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You know, I think people fuck with that.
Right. I definitely agree. And that's...
I want to do more of that in 2019. You guys inspired me.
Be authentic.
Yes.
Huh?
Be authentic.
I would say that I'm authentic. I mean,
like,
I speak
feel
to
like you're a real person.
Like live
more like, because I'm not trying to be like a social media presence, but I have social media presence, if that makes sense. So
Ow.
I want to.
That was Njambi's ow. If you guys didn't catch that
You
one,
gotta
that was her.
distinguish
Like,
between
you
the
gotta
ows.
distinguish. That was definitely her ow.
The
Kind of
both
sounded
of you.
like my ow,
Yeah.
but
That's another story for how we're sisters and
in the owls.
yes, and the owls, like we're just in sync. Yeah. Aside from the scalpies, like
the scalpies.
I'm sorry, Kim. Carry on.
No, just a matter of like being on like I am on social media. I'm trying to be more engaging with people on social media. So for me, it's important. Like I know we've had conversations before. I'm like, I have a YouTube channel, but I don't always just want to get up and post like, you know, everything in life is cherry, because that's not realistic to me. And I also don't want to watch somebody who pretends that everything is going all right. Because then it's like, yo, what the fuck world do you live in?
I don't want to understand like the gym, like in the gym with a highlighter and never sweating. Like I just need someone who's
when I
sweating.
go to the
like,
gym, I'm sweating.
I'm looking crazy.
I look crazy. My hair is not laid.
So how does it stay? I guess
my
don't
makeup,
know.
my face is not beat.
So
because, and I'm not hating on
It
these
depends
people.
on what you're there for.
okay.
I'm not hating on the people who can do this, but when I go to the gym, I'm not seeing people who have a full beat and are not sweating and their hair is perfectly laid. Like, and I definitely don't look like that.
I can't speak about it because I don't go to the gym.
When y'all see
I know
my videos,
what you're
when y'all see my
getting at.
videos, I look
Can't
like
be
I was
going
in this
through
gym.
it.
I look like shit. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this gym session.
Right.
So,
But you make it. Shout
I
out to
do.
you.
Shout out to you.
Thank you. I just need people to have that same energy.
Level of authenticity.
Right. Authenticity. Yeah.
Because then you got people thinking that it's
know.
easy. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go to the gym and I'm gonna look bad all the time. You're not.
But
You're
also
not.
this idea that we're supposed,
You're
especially
supposed
as
to
women,
look,
right?
You can look however you want to look for yourself.
Right. There's
You
a
don't
lot
gotta-
of pressure
Yes.
to look a certain way. Like even like today, I text you and I was like, yo, it's an emergency. Like my eyelash, I was like, I need mascara, you know, and it's just like, just
She
show
did.
up.
Show
Like,
up
you know,
as you
I was
are.
on the train like,
She
whoa,
did.
this is a lot, you know, but it's this constant like
Of having
idea
to be
that
on.
you have to be on,
Mhm.
you know? And it's like all the time, but it's not that way because I'm not going to be on if I'm going to the deli for a chopped cheese. Like I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm just
not.
trying to have my chopped
I'm just
cheese.
trying to get my food.
Right.
Like, you know?
But
Like,
shout out to the people who do go to the
Rich.
deli on 100 with the face beat and however you roll up to the
Yes.
deli. If
Yeah,
that's,
if you can do
No,
that,
if you could,
and that's your real
more power
life,
to you.
That's what's up.
but
Right.
don't feel like you have to.
right. Nah, because
see, I'm like,
I know what you're about to say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me tell you why I'm on the fence. And I'm not implying that I go to the deli to get chopped cheeses with the face beat. But
You
I'm
definitely
just
do.
saying
you look like
that
the type.
when
Dang.
mind your business.
Damn.
I'm just saying that when you leave your house, when you go anywhere, you never know what's gonna happen. So
That's true.
for
Might
TJ,
find the love of your life while you're getting your chopped
Yo,
for
cheese.
you
TJ
might.
personally, I have my moments where I like roll out in sweatpants and I just need to go do a quick run or whatever. But sometimes I'm also like, yo, I don't know what's about to happen between now and when I get to this deli and when
Word.
I get back. I want to feel comfortable with whatever happens. So
There's the difference.
I'm
though.
gonna be
You heard what you said. I want to feel comfortable.
Right, it's
right
for you.
for
The
me.
difference of
For me,
I'm
Right.
getting dressed
yes.
and I'm beating my face to get this chopped cheese because that's what I want to do. Versus, I'm beating my face for this chopped cheese because I don't know who's gonna catch me outside. And if they take a picture and say, yo, TJ was looking crazy, like there's a
End up on
whole different
somebody's
level.
snap.
Yeah,
You're
there's
right,
a whole
you're right.
different level of thinking there.
Right.
As long as you're doing something for yourself, I think that's where the authenticness comes in.
Right. But I definitely understand what you're saying.
yeah, I'm like
Okay.
you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't. You don't.
You know.
I'm gonna be caught out here with.
That's
the,
why you
like,
gotta lotion
crater
up every
face.
day.
Right,
You can't be
moisturize,
ashy,
get your
right.
serums.
Yo, you know what
popping.
else helps? Aloe vera, like the
Mhm.
plant aloe vera, and like putting it on your face for real, y'all.
Validity.
2019,
Get you
aloe
some
vera.
aloe vera.
Like seriously,
Yeah.
stay hydrated and aloe vera. Like, oh, and mind your business.
Yeah,
Yes,
words.
drink water and mind your business. It's
But
still
also-
active in 2019.
Yeah, don't let nobody's son take you for idiots. That's a big one. That's a big one.
Yes.
Or
say it
or
again.
any-
Say it again. Say it
Don't let
again.
nobody's son take you for idiots.
Yes.
Or daughter, you know,
Yes.
somebody's
Respectfully.
child. Right. don't let them take you for idiot.
you.
But
Mhm.
Njambi's gems. Thank
Yes.
you.
oh man,
Now you definitely do. You have that on your Instagram?
I
Gems?
Jambi Gems.
Jambi Gems. That might be
Yes. A little
oh
New
segment.
hashtag, like
Yes.
or something, because she definitely has.
She has the gems.
She has the gems.
I'm hitting the follow button immediately.
Listen,
I'll follow you back.
Shout out to
I'm
social
about to be-
media
yes.
for connecting us.
Drag me out of this
Word.
comfort zone. I want to go to some events.
We're not gonna drag you.
Yes.
You're gonna willingly walk.
Steps.
Sometimes I'm gonna
Take
willingly
steps.
walk.
Take steps,
I'll
yeah.
meet you guys halfway.
Baby steps. I'll
Okay.
take that. I'll
All
take
right.
that.
Okay.
I don't want to drag you. Like,
You-
I don't go to the
now
gym.
you
I'm
have
not-
a problem dragging me. Now.
all right, it's getting a little crazy on this first episode. I have a bone to pick with Cams. We'll hold that
Post pod.
post pod
Got you.
shenanigans.
Post
But
pod.
Njambi, thank you for coming through today. You
Yes.
spoke some real shit about flip floppy self love.
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to kind of just finish off like a takeaway from today. Or you can say fuck out of here. Like I said what I said earlier.
Right,
And that's
and
what y'all
that's
gonna
it.
get on this recording.
And if you want more, follow me.
right.
But yeah.
I mean, I think 2 words sum it up. You know, accountability and authenticity.
Mhm. Double A's.
You know, the double A's. You know, and
Valid.
I'm definitely thankful that I'm here too. I learned a lot from both of you. And shout out to I Said What I Said. You feel me?
Yes.
And definitely gonna take the Njambi gems into account.
You should.
You should.
And I want all of us to connect outside of here and come to some events. Come to Brooklyn, y'all.
I will come to Brooklyn.
Nah, Brooklyn's where it's at. Like,
I don't know about all of that, but I will.
Damn.
Right.
I mean,
like,
Queens get the money, but like
Queens get the money.
I don't know. Like,
nah, I'll definitely come out.
Why you shot shit?
I'm like, damn. Okay.
Let's connect. Njambi gems. Come out to Brooklyn. I don't know. Not quite.
Nah,
damn, Kim.
Queens stay doing that, y'all. Y'all lucky y'all got Nas, man.
That's crazy.
It's cool, but
thank you for rocking out with us today. I appreciate it. Thank you for dropping the gems on Flip Floppy Self Love. Where can we find you again? On social media?
Oh, yes.
Social security number, all of
name, sign.
Right.
So you can find me at Jamba Juice on Instagram. So it's NJAMBA_juice. And at dear_Jams, NJAMS on Twitter.
Okay.
Ow.
Ow.
Shout out to the silent N in my name. You feel me?
Right.
Thank you, mama.
Right. Njambi Kims. Where can we find you? You can find me.
I knew you was
in St. Louis rolling on the
Hey.
First I want to say that I really appreciate you coming here and kicking it with us, dropping some gems, vibing. All jokes aside, I was very inspired by this conversation that we had. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys can find me at Kims on Instagram and Twitter. And you can also find me Sparked by Simone on YouTube.
That's it?
That is all.
Okay. I feel like there was more.
Drum roll.
Don't you have like 3 Instagrams?
No, not quite.
Okay.
I did at one point.
Okay. Is it not active anymore?
It's there.
But it's just...
I'm just streamlining all of my stuff in one place. It's
got it.
Easier.
Okay, got it. Okay. So thank you. This has actually been fun. We will definitely... No, it was fun. I'm glad that we got to start the year off with a guest.
Yes.
I'm glad that you were the guest, not to take away from any of the other guests that we will have later on. But it was...
Everyone can win here.
Yes, there's room for everyone.
The universe is so big.
Right.
Yes, there's space for everybody to prosper. So I am grateful that you came on and joined us on today's discussion of Flip Floppy Self-Love. Thank you for your contributions. You guys can find me on Twitter at Big Reddington. I'm like spelling this shit out. It's BIGREDDINGTON. You can also follow me on Instagram at High Dopenition. That's HI.DOPENITION. I'm like, forgot how to spell this shit.
2019.
Listen. I'm still in reset mode. Bear with me. You can follow our engineer. Shout out to Omar at OS Production __
My brother.
A king.
A king.
And thank you guys for rocking out with us today.
Follow our podcast page.
Oh, sure, you can add that in there. You initiated, just finish it. Like
at iSwiss Podcast, ISWIS Podcast on Instagram.
Also, sorry, last very important point. Shout out to Godly Charles on Instagram for making it into our first creative spotlight for the month. We have all of his information on Instagram. So if you hit our Instagram page, you can find his handle and all of that stuff there. We also have some stuff coming up this month regarding the creative spotlight. So definitely just be on the lookout for that.
It's lit.
Right? And this has been another episode of I Said What I Said, Le Podcast, where Kims and I say what we say and we mean that shit.
Heard.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.